bingo card for this tournament. An electric, chaotic win for Blue Mountain Christian last night in the upset, and our evening affair in the 1-8 matchup pushed these William Carey Crusaders into this elimination game. Middle Georgia State was knocked off by Loyola in the 4-5 contest. To set up this matchup to see who goes home and who keeps playing baseball. My name is Ben Milam, joined by my partner Caleb Hamill. Great to be with you, alongside our executive producer Allie Prescott. Game number 6 of this tournament. We have been treated to some fantastic baseball. 4 narrowly decided ball games yesterday. One blowout win to start today. Ronald Zayas on the mound for Middle Georgia State. His first pitch too tall, got away from everyone. And we are underway here to decide who keeps playing in the SSAC Conference Tournament. We'll give you the starting lineups here shortly. Zayas working on R.J. Stinson, the leadoff hitter for William Carey. 2-0 the count on R.J. Stinson, playing out in center field. He's been the typical left fielder since opening day for William Carey, but over in center in the absence of Patrick Lee. Your umpires, 3-man crew, Jackie Caldwell will be calling the balls and strikes. Gary Haynes over at first base. Hoss Matherson, your third base umpire. Here's a 3-0 from Zayas. Just nips the outside corner. R.J. Stinson will have to stay put. 3 balls and a strike. And Caleb, it really feels like in a game like this, an elimination game, whoever starts the fastest is going to win this ball game.
All gas, no brakes for the person that'll come away the victor in this contest. Now it's just going to be a matter of who will be the first one to throw the first punch. Who will shoot first.
Middle Georgia State held scoreless yesterday by Loyola. This is upstairs. R.J. Stinson starts it off for the Crusaders with a walk on a full count. And William Carey has the leadoff man aboard with Bobby Leday stepping to the dish.
Shortstop for the Crusaders, Bobby Leday.
And for William Carey, this top of the order is a dangerous one. R.J. Stinson, Bobby Leday, who's in this part of the order not by originally choice. It was more necessity whenever Patrick Lee had to exit the season with a hamstring injury. Possible to see him return for the postseason when it comes to the NAIA tournament, but in the meantime, Bobby Leday has made his 2 spot in the order count.
He certainly has. Hit just a shade under 600 in the series against Loyola last weekend to conclude the regular season in a sweep of the Wolfpack for William Carey. And he has become one of, if not the hottest hitting Crusaders. Zayas to the plate to the shortstop Leday. 2 balls and a strike. Zayas has fallen behind on the first 2 hitters.
That's a dangerous thing to do to these Crusaders at the top of the order. We already saw one game earlier today that started with a 9-run first inning.
2-1, that's outside.
Both sides would love to see a crooked number put up for their respective offenses in the first inning.
And Faulkner, that 9-run first inning against Bruton Parker, carried that to a 13-4 victory. A full 9-inning game. We're just a few swings away, maybe 1 swing away from a 10-run rule victory, but the Barons made it a full 9-inning game, but Faulkner came away with the win. They will await the winner of our 3rd game this evening as Bobby Leday works a walk on a 3-1 count. Crusaders have placed the first 2 on board on walks by Ronald Zayas. Quick conversation out between Zayas and his catcher Garrett Dennis. Starting order for William Carey: R.J. Stinson, Bobby Leday, and then Jake Lissette coming to the plate, top 3rd of the order. Preston Ratliff, the cleanup hitter, the DH. Billy Garrity out in right field. Braden Coffey, the catcher, drawing his first start of the tournament. Bottom 3rd, Brady Wilson, the 3rd baseman. Rigoberto Hernandez, the 2nd baseman, and Chris Jones out in left, also drawing his first start here in postseason baseball for the Crusaders. So Jake Lissette has the table set. Zayas working from the stretch, nobody out, 2 on. First offering to Lissette, a called strike. Zayas really needs to button things down here and avoid. You'd like to avoid any damage, but I think if you avoid the crooked number, you'd feel pretty good if you're Ronald Zayas and Middle Georgia State. A one lifted high and deep to right field. Back goes Duarte, and we are underway here at Milton Wheeler. Jake Lissette starts it loud and long. A 3-run big fly off the bat of the first baseman, Jake Lissette. It is his 10th of 2023, and the Crusaders a resounding start in the loser's bracket game.
And what a way to start it for William Carey. Lissette getting his 10th home run of the season, notching up RBIs 60 through 62, or 61, I should say, 59 through 61. And it's an early Crusader lead with no outs in the first.
So now Preston Ratliff with the bases empty and a 3-run lead. And William Carey down there at the first base dugout making a whole lot of noise. That's got to feel good for William Carey after a disappointing affair last night against the 8-seed Blue Mountain Christian Toppers, who outplayed William Carey really from start to finish. The Crusaders were down 7-3 going into the bottom of the ninth, put up a 4 spot to tie the game and push it to extras. 2-0. Ratliff spoils that one out of play over the first base dugout, and then in 11 innings, a sacrifice fly in the top of the 11th would be enough for Blue Mountain Christian as Josh Smith polished it off with Billy Garrity at the plate to secure the win and put Blue Mountain Christian into the winner's bracket tonight at 7 o'clock. The storyline's starting to solidify here in Hattiesburg a little bit. Snubbed off the end of the bat, should be playable for Wilson. He shovels to Zayas, who steps on the pillow, and there's the first out of the inning.
A hard-earned first out right there. They didn't make it easy with that grounder over to first base, but Wilson and Zayas made it look routine.
I heard a lot of coaches say, talking to them earlier in the week, Caleb, that whoever makes the most routine plays is going to have the best chance to make a run of this tournament. That and throwing strikes at this level, that's going to put you way ahead.
Well, that says it right there as to how William Carey ended up in this position to be in the loser's bracket. When you look back at that Blue Mountain game, they gave up 5 runs, all thanks to walks and an error. If they throw strikes and get their routine plays down, they're not talking about extra innings or even the loser's bracket. They're talking about winning a game by 3, maybe 4 runs.
Here's Billy Garrity, the right fielder. 1-1 count from Zayas. Breaking ball, bounce to the left side. Rice up with it. Throw to first is going to pull Wilson off the bag, and Billy Garrity will reach on a knee 6. And it's also a matter of taking advantage of opportunities just like that from the other side when they are presented.
And the first person that's going to get a chance to capitalize on that is Braden Coffey, who's the next guy at the dish. And you mentioned this is his first start of the tournament. Coffey's a guy that William Carey's pretty confident in as a second-place catcher, if you want to call him that. They really kind of have a 1A, 1B type catcher in this William Carey lineup. It
really has become that a catcher, and that's what it was last year for this group with Colby Cagle, Magruder O'Bannon, and you fill those 2 spots after graduating both of those catchers with 2 junior college guys, and Braden Coffey and Brady Logan, who have really produced well. Brady Logan has shifted into that 1A spot with Braden Coffey sustaining a concussion 2 weeks ago against Loyola. But Coffey finds himself back in the starting lineup. He's in the hole 0-2. Desaias got a pinch hit appearance late in last night's ball game. Grounded out, but it was an RBI ground out. And that was in the bottom of that 9th inning, that 4-run 9th inning to push it to extra innings. 0-2. 10-bit low from Zayas. Maybe that is footing shift a little bit on that mound. Field looking fantastic as always. Really hard to keep it looking like this. 6 games in at a long week of baseball. 1-2. Called strike 3. Beautiful pitch from Zayas. Just touching the outside corner with a sweeping breaking ball, and there are 2 away.
Well, this is what Zayas has to do to get back into this one. Already down 3-0, but he's a guy that likes to fill the zone. Has some pretty good stuff, 90-ish in his fastball, some good breaking balls in his mix as well. The thing is, Zayas has been fairly consistent and come on strong in this last month, according to his head coach. To quote Coach Knight, when he's on, he's on.
Yep. Said that about a number of guys on this pitching staff, did Coach Knight. Zayas being probably the forefront in that definition. 1-2. Brady Wilson, the third baseman, he's also in the hole, 0-2. So Zayas got behind on R.J. Stinson. Bobby Leday walked both, and Jake Lissette cashed in on a 3-run home run to give William Carey the early 3-0 lead. Ratliff grounded out. Garrity reached on an error. Coffey struck out. They give you 2 outs with Garrity at first base, Wilson at the plate, and an 0-2 count. Backdoor breaking ball just missed outside, wrapping around the zone. Ronald Zayas, the sophomore, making his 13th appearance, 11th start of 2023. 4 wins, 2 losses in 57 1/3 innings. 5.18 ERA. 72 strikeouts of those 57-plus innings, 30 walks. Laced into left field. That's a base hit for Brady Wilson. And the Crusaders have a 2-out base knock and 2 on here in the top of the first inning. Well, we said a fast start was key, Caleb, and the Crusaders have gotten it here. And I think, obviously, a fast start always beneficial, but especially after a heartbreaking loss in upset fashion last night. That could easily, move you to sleepwalking a little bit here in the loser's bracket, but you're able to get that juice back a little bit in the dugout, re-inject the confidence. Rigoberto Hernandez now stands against Ronald Zayas with 2 outs, the chance to increase that momentum here. But 2 outs for Zayas at Middle Georgia State, looking to get out of the inning. Just 1 base hit. It was a Jake Lissette long ball. So Zayas has the strikeout stuff, 72 Ks and 57-plus innings, as mentioned. Usually he's going to throw strikes, only 30 walks and 57-plus innings now. Well, that's outside. 2-0 to Hernandez, the sophomore out of Panama City, Panama. Started this season at shortstop, shifted over to the second base position where his coaching staff, all 3 guys, Coach Eberts, Coach Smith, Coach Halford, have all said they feel like he fits there more naturally. This is lifted into left field. Long way to go for Datron Bray, but he will shift under it and make the catch. The side is retired, but not before a 3-run home run from Jake Lissette. It's 3 runs on just 1 base hit. There was 1 error, and there were 2 left on base for William Carey. The Crusaders grab a 3-run lead. It is William Carey 3, Middle Georgia State 0. And coming to bat right after this, this is SSAC Conference Tournament Baseball.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger.
Williams in the 5-hole, the designated hitter. Jaden Duarte in right, and in the 6-hole. Out of the third of the order, Garrett Dennis, the catcher. Jacob Edwards, the second baseman, and rounding out the order, Datron Bray in left field. Defensively for William Carey, a little bit of a different look. Chris Jones out in left field, drawing his first start of the tournament. R.J. Stinson at center, Billy Garrity in right. Over at third base, Brady Wilson, Bobby Leday at short, Rigoberto Hernandez, the second baseman. Jake Lissette, the first baseman, and Braden Coffey behind the dish. J.T. Rice, Jacob Pierce, Ryan Wilson due up here in the bottom first of the inning. Middle Georgia State quickly tasked with responding to a burst from William Carey in the top half of this inning. And Andrew Shirah, he has become the ace of this staff. Again, Caleb, I think a situation you would call 1A, 1B, with A.J. Stinson being the ace for the first half. Shirah kind of moving into that spot after A.J. Stinson sustained a little bit of a shoulder injury and has returned to form as well. But Andrew Shirah has shined in these last 3-4 weeks of play, and they need a big one from him here this afternoon.
Well, he's been a factor of William Carey producing a lot of runs in the contests that happen on the first night of action in these 3-game series in conference play. He's pitched a complete game a number of times in a Crusader uniform in 2023. A lot of that has to do with the fact that he's only had to go 7 innings.
Shirah, 3 complete games on the season, 4.75 ERA. Here's the 2-2 to JT Rice. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. This is our first base umpire, Gary Haynes. 3-2 the count. The leadoff hitting JT Rice. Georgia State would like to get that leadoff runner aboard, but they will not. Andrew Shirah, strikeout number 1 on the day. Andrew Shirah, always fun to watch pitch. He is never going to hide his emotions. He lets out a scream there after getting his first strikeout.
I got to say, though, I respect the plate approach that Middle Georgia State starts off with in JT Rice. Goes full count before he strikes out, really trying to at least force Shirah to throw more pitches than he wants to in the first few innings. If they can get his pitch count up, maybe they force the Crusaders to get into the bullpen early and maybe do more of their damage on the back end of a game.
This is Jacob Pierce, the center fielder. Count even a ball and a strike. That is part of the approach for Andrew Shirah to induce some swing and miss on balls outside of the zone. He's got that sweeping slider he'll throw away to righties, in on lefties. He'll also use it in backdoor fashion on left-handed hitters. Part of what makes him so effective is that 3-pitch mix. Fastball, slider, change for the righty Shirah.
Really like the off-speed right there. Really got Pierce out in front of it.
Shirah, the junior out of Mobile, Alabama. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jacob Pierce. Swing and a miss, strike 3. There's the changeup from Shirah. Oh boy, he's feeling it early. One of the first starts with 2 swinging strikeouts. Andrew Shirah has seen this Middle Georgia State club. A little over a month ago, he went one of those 3 complete games against the Knights. Gave up 4 base hits, 1 run. It was earned. Walked 4, struck out 9. One of his better performances in this last month of play. Away for a miss from Ryan Wilson to start him off 0-1. And won the count. More beautiful weather here in Hattiesburg. 82 degrees at the time of first pitch. My weatherman tells me 1 mile per hour wind. This one dribbled a little foul to the left of the third base bag. And some parts of the park looks a little more significant to that, but right now nothing that would really make you think it'll be a factor, and it's pitcher's ballpark that can play pretty cavernous at times. 1-2 to Ryan Wilson. Looked pretty good from Shirah. Doesn't get the call. 2-2.
Ryan Wilson got a pretty good eye to judge that one right there, because that was really close to strike 3.
There's strike 3. Andrew Shirah says, I'll do it myself. He strikes out the side after Braden Coffey finishes it off after it got away. 3 strikeouts for Andrew Shirah. 3 up, 3 down. Quick and clean. No runs, no hits, no errors. No one left on base. To the second we go. 1 complete. William Carey leads it 3-0 over Middle Georgia State.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, clickgranger.com, or just stop by. Granger.
Leading off for William Carey, left fielder Chris Jones.
Andrew Shirah, a dominant bottom of the first inning to set the tone behind Jake Lissette's 3-run home run. At the top of the first, William Carey sent 8 batters to the plate in inning number 1. Ronald Zayas back to work. He will see 9, 1, and 2 in the Carey order. Wave and a miss from Chris Jones, who drew 2 huge walks in the 9th and in the 11th last night against Blue Mountain Christian, both against Josh Smith. But he's quickly in the hole, 0-2.
And for those of you that actually were able to sleep last night and not keep your eyes on the William Carey game, he kind of came in out of necessity when Bailey Hendon robbed a home run.
This one was lifted off the end of the bat into left field, but no problem for Datron Bray. Quick one out for Ronald Zayas.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it with my own eyes, but Ben, what was it like seeing Hendon go back to the wall and rob that home run?
Well, me and Josh West were both confused and unsure that he actually made the catch. We saw the indication from the umpire, who had the best look at it, obviously, but it was one of those catches that was so borderline it wasn't quite robbed. It off the top of the wall and against the commercial stationary blue sign out in left field, where we didn't have the angle where we could see it go over the wall or into the glove. So I'm sure some of our audience members were a little annoyed with us waiting to make the call, but we had to make sure that it was in the glove of Bailey Hendon. It was that spectacular of a catch, and he stayed out there and a good amount of pain it looked like, but quickly rushed into the dugout after that.
Not a lot of padding on that left field fence.
No, there's really not. Bailey Hendon went into it full force. 2 balls and 2 strikes to R.J. Stinson, who drew a walk and scored on the Jake Lissette home run in the first. 2-2, swing and a miss. There's the second strikeout for Zayas. And a quick and efficient inning here for Ronald Zayas would go a long way in settling things down for Middle Georgia State. Bobby Leday will look to prevent that with 2 outs and nobody on.
Don't forget, you can be a part of the broadcast by visiting our text line. Give you a shout out. Tell us your thoughts at 601-658-0916. Again, that text line is 601-658-0916.
Big cut from Bobby Leday. And another big cut. And another miss of a Ronald Zayas offering. Zayas had the count 0-2. Here's where the momentum can start to be tugged back in the direction of Middle Georgia State. And a quick pitch will elicit a pause from our home plate umpire, Jackie Caldwell. Leday was not ready and waiting. And now we are ready to go. 0-2 from Zayas. Foul back into the mitt of Garrett Dennis. Zayas follows suit of Andrew Shirah with a dominant inning of his own. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody sniffs the base path at the top of the second inning. It'll be Andrew Shirah again when we come back against Middle Georgia State's 4, 5, and 6. This is SSAC Conference Tournament Baseball.
Healthcare doesn't have to be a pain. Get an appointment tomorrow instead of in 2 weeks. One Medical.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the
Leading off for Middle Georgia State, third baseman, Drew Cross.
Middle of the Middle Georgia State order. Andrew Kraus leads it off. Behind him, Brennan Williams, Jaden Duarte. 3-0, William Carey leads it. an elimination game. Both of these teams higher seeds who lost to the lower seed yesterday. Middle Georgia State, a 4-0 loss against Loyola in our very first contest in this tournament. William Carey, an 8-7 loss in 11 innings to Blue Mountain Christian. One of those games that we're going to keep talking about all tournament and for a long time after that. A classic. This one nubbed off the end of the bat, bouncing to Jake Lissette. He will step on the bag himself. There's one away.
Pretty efficient work so far for Andrew Shirah.
Yeah, to say the least. 3 strikeouts and a ground out to start this inning. To finish the numbers on Andrew Shirah, 66.1 innings entering this outing. His 13th appearance, 13th start. And this is down to the way to Brennan Williams. Opponent's hitting .225 against the righty Shirah. 63 strikeouts, 34 walks in those 66 innings. Catches the outside part of the zone, 1-1.
Brennan Williams, a transfer from Southern Illinois, the Salukis.
The Salukis. That's one of my favorite mascots in college sports. Big bouncer to Hernandez, and he took his eyes off of it, skips away. Brennan Williams will reach on the first William Carey error of the afternoon.
Well, he got a nice hop. It came right up to him, but like you said, he just took his eyes off of it and was already thinking he had a surefire out. But got to stay with it.
That's one where Hernandez made the play in his head before it was in his glove. Sometimes balls like that, too easy, where you do lose concentration. And now Middle Georgia State has their first base runner. This is Jaden Duarte, the right fielder for Middle Georgia State. Duarte, .269 hitter on the season, 26 runs batted in. 1-0. Laced on the ground to the first base side, but a foul ground. Ty Little will go track it down out of the William Carey dugout. Glad to have you with us on a Thursday afternoon. Maybe you're tuned in at the office.
Don't worry, we won't tell. Your secret's safe with us.
Yeah, if you have a problem with a cranky boss, just give him our text line number. We will have a conversation with him or her. This one is right past Jake Lissette, down the first baseline, a fair ball all the way into the corner. Williams racing around second. They will hold him there at third. A double with one out of the inning for Jaden Duarte. The first base hit for Middle Georgia State sets the table with 2 runners in scoring position and 1 away.
It's what we come and talk about here, Ben. Capitalize on the mistake of the other team. Right now, William Carey has given up an error and now a double to follow to put 2 men in scoring position with just 1 out.
Now the catcher, Garrett Dennis, at a big spot. Every spot where there is scoring opportunity is a big one in an elimination game. Shirah goes back to the windup, delivers to Dennis, down and away.
Dennis, a .344 average this season, strikes out a little bit more than he'd like. 15-9 in the strikeout to walk ratio as a batter, but does have 22 runs driven in this year.
1-0. That sweeps just outside, or inside, I should say. They missed by much to know the count.
Fastball count. Dennis may be seeing something he'd like to hit here. He does indeed swing.
So 2 balls and a strike. Wind silent in the outfield. Garrett Dennis looking to find some outfield grass and score 2 runs here. 2-1 pitch. It is lifted into shallow center field. R.J. Stinson giving chase. That is going to be caught by Rigoberto Hernandez. And off of second base is Duarte. He will be doubled off to end the inning. Wow. Duarte was convinced that was going to fall. He had his eyes on third base. Rigoberto Hernandez, a circus catch in shallow center field, and he catches Duarte off the bag to end the inning on the double play for Middle Georgia State. No runs on one base hit. There were no errors, and there was one left on base. Big missed opportunity for the Knights. Ronald Zayas back out to continue his outing when we return. This is the SSAC Conference Baseball Tournament.
Hometown ticketing makes it fast and easy to buy tickets on your school's website or in the new Hometown Fan app. It's simple. Just search for your school, buy your tickets, and they'll be right there in your account, ready to be scanned when you get to your event. Download the Hometown Fan app today.
Ronald Zayas back to work. Really settled things down in the second inning. A message on our championship text line says, let's go Ronald Zayas. Keep it up, baby. You guys watch for him. He's coming up. He certainly came up in that second frame. He's got the stuff, to be sure. There is no doubt about that. 1-0. What? They shoot free passes. The first two batters for William Carey. And this man right here, Jake Lissette, made him pay. There's a backdoor slider. It's the outside corner. 2-1 to Jake Lissette.
Got another viewer listening in from Jacksonville, Florida, supporting the good old Middle Georgia State Knights, as they say.
3-1 to Lissette. Fastball strike. And it's 3-2. Second time in this game, Zayas is going to a full count against William Carey. Hitters pay off. Pitch, breaking ball, tapped to the left side. Wilson comes to get it. Throw is high and late. The indication from Gary Haynes looked like it was just the fact that Jake Lissette beat it out.
It didn't signal anything about the fielder being off the bag.
Yeah, Ryan Wilson looked like he may have kept his toe on the bag, and it will be an E5.
Oh, okay, so an error on the third baseman then. Interesting.
Yeah, so the question is whether or not he beat it out or if the throw drew Ryan Wilson off, but that was not the indication from the umpire, so I would say base hit.
We're having a meeting of minds up here in the booth.
So the indication was he beat it out, so it will be a single. That's a single for Preston Ratliff. Back-to-back base hits is how the third inning starts for William Carey.
We know, Ben, I do my books in pen, and I initially put singles, so that's what it was going to be in my book regardless.
I also do it in pen.
Right fielder for the Crusaders, Billy Carey.
We're quite persuasive up here.
I don't know why I do it in pen. It would make a lot more sense to do it in pencil, but
it's about being confident.
Yeah. Miss Shirley over here, the pro, is working with a pencil. Our official scorekeeper of this tournament. This is Billy Garrity. He reached on an error by J.T. Rice, the shortstop, his first time up. Was 1 for 4 last night at a big 2 RBI single to tie the game and send it to extra innings against Blue Mountain Christian.
Well, you know, Shirley does NCAA Division I games as well, and they actually have review processes. So you have no choice but to use pencil there.
That's a fair point. I think Shirley raising that pencil above her head, we kind of get big lead a little bit there. 4 base hits so far for William Carey, but just one that has done damage on Ronald Zayas. Zayas behind to the count 3-0 on Billy Garrity.
Dangerous hitter right here.
Really feel like Billy Garrity is one of those guys you would call an X factor in this tournament. If he can find a way to get hot, it really gives a boost to an already powerful William Carey offense that finds the zone for Zayas. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, we mentioned it already about Patrick Lee and his hamstring injury. Usually Bobby Leday and Billy Garrity are back-to-back in the bottom half of the order, and that is quite a 1-2 punch to have in your latter half.
3-1. Big swing and a miss. And when this William Carey offense is on, you can say it about Middle Georgia State, too. They lead the league in home runs with 79. But when they're on, if both sides, it is a 1-2, 3-4, 5-6, 7-8, 9 punch. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Billy Garrity. 2 runners on. Nobody out for Ronald Zayas. He's at the numbers, and he skips it for ball 4. Bases loaded for William Carey. And another big opportunity with Braden Coffey, the catcher, moseying up to home plate. 3rd walk for Ronald Zayas so far. We're going to have a conversation for Middle Georgia State. On the mound, there is early action in the Middle Georgia State bullpen.
Yeah, already trying to warm up Caleb Lanou.
Yeah, and I think typically you'd probably let a guy like Zayas, who's been so good all season long, you'd probably ride him out a little bit longer and maybe try to let him escape some further damage. Not that they're going to take him out here. I think this is just a settle-me-down conversation. But in a tournament format, elimination game, you cannot take any chances.
That's right, and that was a fact of what happened in the last game. You really, if you're Bruton Parker, did not want to have to pull your starter, but you're kind of left with no choice with how many runs had already been given up. It ended up being a total of 9 after the reliever came in. Zayas on the year, a 4-2 overall record in 12 appearances. He's usually a much better strikeout guy, but right now he's given the Crusaders some free passes and allowed some base hits.
First pitch to Braden Coffey off the dish. Ronald Zayas just wants out number 1. That is the primary objective right here. Brady Wilson stands on deck. He singled his last time up. Down low, 2-0.
I mean, looking at Zayas on the year, 72 strikeouts to 30 walks. I mean, a over 2-to-1 ratio of strikeouts to walks. And right now it's even at 3-3, the strikeouts and walks in this game.
2-0, just a touch high. We've seen that location not be called a strike a couple of times by Jackie Caldwell. And on the bottom of the zone, that's a called strike. And it also might be an instance for Ronald Zayas to have to kind of earn the strike zone back. A lot of times you'll see that. Home plate umpires, borderline calls will go the other way. If a pitcher has been out of the zone, that one out of the zone indeed. The bases loaded walk for Braden Coffey. William Carey will take a 4-0 lead, pushing home Jake Lissette, who led off the inning with a single. Braden Coffey picks up an RBI the easy way. And now Brady Wilson with the bases loaded. Ratliff over to third. Garrity to second. Coffey at first. After the base on balls, it'll be Ty Little running for Braden Coffey. That one also didn't miss by a whole lot. Did run a little inside on the left-handed hitting Brady Wilson.
Zayas just has to buy a strike at this point, somehow, some way. And there he gets one, finally.
Get one there, 1-1, and you see Caleb Lanou forming with a little more urgency. It looks like he might be ready. So if Zayas doesn't get an out here, could spell the end for the righty. That would not be ideal for Middle Georgia State. They wanted and need Ronald Zayas to give them some length, which again he has done vast majority of 2023. He is in a tight spot here, searching for out number 1. with the bases loaded. There's a call strike to set down Brady Wilson for out number 1. Backwards K, the 4th for this Ronald Zayas outing. And that's a big one because now potentially a ground ball could get you out of it. Middle infield will draw back a little bit into double play depth. Andrew Krause over there at third base, toes on the infield grass. Just in case something soft is laid down that third base line. Zayas still from the windup. First pitch to Rigoberto Hernandez. That's a grand slam cut.
Well, you got to be really careful with Hernandez right here. He's slugging .640 in conference play this year with 10 doubles and 3 home runs and a triple to split those two.
One little off the dish. And I always call it out. Rigoberto will always tell the home plate umpire where he thinks a pitch is. And I think sometimes it helps Rigoberto, sometimes it hurts him. Oh, no, this one is lifted into left field. Will it be deep enough to bring home Ratliff? Play is made by Bray, and a strong throw in will keep Ratliff at third base. Nice job by Datron Bray over there to get the second out and keep everybody put where they are. Bases stay loaded, but 2 big outs on a strikeout and a fly out for Ronald Zayas. If you get out of this with just one run across, similar to that first inning where Ronald Zayas limited the damage, that sets you up to settle things down and get 2 or 3 more innings onto the scorecard if you're Zayas and save Caleb Lanoux for later in this ballgame.
Oh, it'd be huge if they can get out of this inning with only 1 run scored.
This is Chris Jones. He flew out to left field, 0 for 1 on the day. Jones, we talked about it last night in his pinch hit appearance. His replacement defensively, or Bailey Hendon, hasn't seen a whole lot of action this year. This is off the end of the bat into center field, dropping quickly. Jacob Pierce on the run, diving, pops out of his glove. Ratliff scores, Garrity scores, and Jones trots into second base. Jacob Pierce is shaken up. He gave everything to try and get that baseball. Looks like it's more frustration from Pierce than it is pain. Pierce looks like he's going to be okay. Took a couple of steps back and realized it was off the end of the bat for Chris Jones. And that thing, well, that dropped quickly. Somebody turned the gravity up here at Milton Wheeler Field. And that one just got in front of the diving Pierce.
Yeah, you definitely see the frustration from Pierce right there. You could tell he went back as his first move, which is what you're taught as an outfielder. Your first move is always to be back. But took a little bit too long before he realized it was coming down in front of him. And sometimes those screamers hit right at you are the hardest to judge as far as their height.
Here's R.J. Stinson with 2 runners in scoring position. This is lifted into center field. Should be a little easier for Jacob Pierce. He'll take a few steps back and make the catch. The side is retired to strand 2 runners in scoring position. The 3 more for William Carey. They do it on 3 base hits. There were no errors, and there were 2 left on base. To the bottom of the 3rd we go. Middle Georgia State needs to answer. When we come back, they will send up the bottom of their order, 8, 9, and 1 when we return. This is SSAC Conference Tournament Baseball.
At Nukes, we know that for you, it's all about flavor. You want unique combinations that truly tempt your taste buds. Culinary classics that go to a whole new level. You like being served fresh takes on old favorites. All in a fun, stylish, casual place to be. All we want is to see that smile when you take your very first bite. So come see us at Nukes Eatery.
Andrew Shirah sees his lead double, 6-0 William Carey. 8-9-1 for Middle Georgia State. Jacob Edwards, his first AB against Andrew Shirah here in the bottom of the third inning.
It's got to be real good now. Here we go.
2-0 a called strike. So 2-1 the count to Jacob Edwards, and this is where Middle Georgia State needs to start to create some offense. This thing could get ugly quick. But if there are offenses equipped to do it, as we have talked about, Middle Georgia State certainly one of those groups. This is laced into left field. That'll help. Jacob Edwards starts the third off right with a single into left field. Second base knock for Middle Georgia State.
And good for them to get the leadoff runner aboard. That's the magic formula for a lot of teams to get their first run across. It's probably a little less than 50% of the time you get that leadoff runner on, but still a pretty good percentage, all things considered, in producing a run. Now you got the 9th spot of the order, then the top of the order up.
This is Datron Bray, who made a nice play out in left field. Get the ball in quickly on a fly out in that last half inning. Bray, the 9-hole hitter, top of the order, stands on deck, as Caleb just said.
So a little sign of a bunt attempt from Bray right there. Wouldn't be surprised if you try to bunt the guy over to second base, but in a 6-0 ball game, maybe piecing together one run at a time is the objective. Maybe more so it's string together hits. We'll see if the bunt is still on here.
Yeah, 2-0 is the count. Fastball count for Datron Bray. He'll swing away and go right through the changeup from Andrew Shirah. Bray, a .246 hitter in 2023. 15 runs driven in.
That's a really good pitch for him.
3 home runs for Bray, and it is. That's the bread and butter for Andrew Shirah. If that is working along with the breaking ball, he is tough to hit. This one touched back to him on the bunt. He's got to hurry. Shirah to first. He throws it away. Edwards to third. Coach Knight will hold him there. Bray all the way up to second base. That's what it takes, putting the ball in play, putting the defense in tough spots. Andrew Shirah not up to the task there. It'll be an E1. And for the second straight inning, Middle Georgia State, 2 runners in scoring position.
Second error of the game. First one didn't come back to haunt William Carey, but right now they've got 2 runners in scoring position and no outs. That's how William Carey got their damage done earlier in the ball game.
Yeah, this does set up really well for Middle Georgia State. Now the top of the order coming up. But the bad news for Middle Georgia State, all 3 of these first 3 hitters went down swinging on strikes to Andrew Shirah their first time up. And a called strike with a breaking ball. A slider from Andrew Shirah. We'll see the curveball every now and then from Shirah, but it'll be majority slider on the breaking balls, plus the fastball and changeup. He's ahead in the count, 0-2.
Shirah's just trying to stay level-headed right here. Knows he has that 6-run lead. Just deal one batter at the time.
0-2 to Rice. Swing at a miss, strike 3. And the dirt blocked up by Coffey. He'll make the throw down to first. Out number 1 on the 4th strikeout from Andrew Shirah, bringing up Jacob Pierce, who was also 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
Side note, good batter remove from Coffey. On the drop third strike, did not immediately go to first with that one. Gave it a pause, gave a second look over there to Edwards at third base before he completed that throw. It's all about knowing your timing. Played that
First
one perfectly.
Pitch to Jacob Pierce. Big swing and a miss. Top third of the order having a little trouble with Andrew Shirah here in the early stages of this game. Pierce was 2 for 5 in yesterday's game against Loyola, where this offense really could not get a whole lot going. Never were able to find that big base hit. Again, they were shut out. 5 base hits from Middle Georgia State. They had their opportunities, but unable to get anything across. And again, second consecutive scoring opportunity for Middle Georgia State here. And with a 6-0 deficit, they need to cash in. Andrew Shirah so far has been able to bear down and avoid any damage. One, two. Outside, good take from Jacob Pierce. Middle Georgia State stranded 11 runners in that 4-0 loss yesterday to start this tournament. Uncharacteristic of this group, though. Here's the 2-2 from Shirah. Breaking ball that stays high.
Well, he started off Pierce 0-2, and now he's come back and missed outside, just trying to get that corner strike called. Nothing doing so far. He may have to force Pierce to swing and miss.
3 balls, 2 strikes. First base is open with 2 runners on and 1 away.
For Middle Georgia, a ground ball gets you a run.
Payoff pitch. Fouled back. Shirah trying to go to that bender, breaking in on the inside corner. It would have been a close call. Jacob Pierce didn't want to find out. Count will hold full. Three-two pitch. Down and just away. Shirah thought he had his second out, but the bases will be full of Middle Georgia State Knights. Tell you what, there's a little talking going on over there at first base between Jake Lissette and Jacob Pierce. Jacob Pierce got a long look to the William Carey dugout after drawing that walk. This is the kind of game where it can get a little chippy. With a whole lot on the line. 0-1 to Ryan Wilson in a big spot with the bases juiced. And 1 out of the inning, 6-0 to William Carey. Lead that Middle Georgia State can change that quickly here. Wilson down in the count, 0-2.
That's where Pierce was last at bat, but he worked himself into a walk. Let's see how Wilson responds.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Shirah, that's a big one. You never have to ask Andrew Shirah to get fired up.
No, you do not. Just like you don't have to ask Rigoberto Hernandez where pitch was when he's at the plate.
There you go. Andrew Krause now the last hope for Middle Georgia State with the bases loaded. All the momentum will be in the hands of the Crusaders if they can get out of this with no damage done. Krause, bouncer to the left side. Wilson has it skip off his heel. Everyone will be safe. Middle Georgia State breaks the seal. It is a 6-1 ball game.
Third error of the game for William Carey, and it now allows a run to come in.
Second error of the inning. It'll be an E5 on Brady Wilson. Jacob Edwards is the one to score. Bray moves up to third base. Bray thought about maybe going 4 there, but quickly retreats back to third. Pierce up to second. Krause standing at first after reaching on the error. Now Brennan Williams. And Brennan Williams, he's got the power potential to completely change the dynamic of this baseball game.
That's the thing about a Milton, Georgia squad that hits so many home runs. It can really turn a ball game around when you give free passes and free base runners on errors. And for Wilson right there on that last play, just tried to hurry himself too much when you can just make the force play right there at third.
1-1. Williams got a good look at one right there. But chops it foul, and Andrew Shirah again a strike away. Words of encouragement to himself for Andrew Shirah into the glove. He gets the sign from Coffey, the 1-2. Down low, the changeup. Done by Williams to stay off of that one. That changeup, again, what it's on, it's really, really good. It looks like a fastball for about 55 feet and drops off the face of the earth.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes right here. If you're Williams, you're guarding the plate. At the same time, you're keeping an eye out for that pitch. Maybe you're sitting fastball, want to slow up your swing for that changeup, though.
And some Middle Georgia State fans on our text line rooting on their guys in a big spot here. Brennan Williams at a 2-2 count. 2 away, bases loaded. Shirah to the plate. Lifted into center field. Should be playable for R.J. Stinson. He will take a couple of steps to his right, and that'll do it for Middle Georgia State. Brandon Williams out on his front foot on the Shirah changeup, and that retires the side. 1 run on 1 base hit, 2 errors, and 3 big runners left on board for Middle Georgia State. 6-1, William Carey after 3 complete over Middle Georgia State. To the middle innings we go. This is SSAC Conference Tournament Baseball.
Transformed higher education and college athletics.
No person in the United States shall,
on the basis of sex,
be excluded from participation in,
be denied the benefits of,
or be subjected to discrimination
under any education program or activity,
receiving federal financial assistance.
Shortstop Bobby Lede.
2, 3, and 4 for William Carey. Ronald Zayas back out. This is laced to center field, but Jacob Pierce hasn't measured. A couple of steps back as the wind starts to pick up a little bit. Out to left center field. That one was hit on the nose by Lede, but Pierce is there to make the catch. 1 out in the inning. Caleb, I believe we've got some people chiming in on the text line who will be competing in this tournament later today.
I know last night there were a lot of Mobile players that were tuning in, staying up past their bedtime, but they knew they had a later ball game. They could afford to.
Yeah, we have some calls for Box and Pine Tar on the text line. I think probably some ulterior motives there. Jake said didn't like the call. He's in the hole 0-2. Home crowd for William Carey doesn't like it either. 0-2 from Zayas. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Drop third strike. Dennis will throw it down to complete the K. And there are 2 gone. So Zayas a quick 3 in the second inning. Then ran into some trouble in the third. He's looking for another bounce back frame right here. Preston Ratliff stepping to the plate, 1 for 2 with a run scored, single and a ground out.
Is this becoming a pattern for Middle Georgia?
Into right field. That's the second base hit for Preston Ratliff. 2 out base runner for the Crusaders.
I think that just answered my question. I was going to say, is it 3 runs, 3 up, 3 down, 3 runs, and then another 3 up, 3 down? But Ratliff says not so fast. The Crusaders with 2 outs yesterday. They came up clutch against Blue Mountain in that bottom of the 9th to tie the game, including a drop third strike that Bobby Lede was able to reach on.
That's right. So many different little plays that swing one way or the other. Razor-thin margins can completely change a ball game. We've seen that already several times in this tournament so far here at Game 6 between William Carey, the 1 seed, Middle Georgia State, the 4 seed. Middle Georgia State are the home team on the scoreboard. They won the coin toss before the game. Swing and a miss from Garrity. He's in the hole 1-2 with 2 away. Billy Garrity has reached twice on an error and a walk.
Zayas is nibbling at the outside part of the plate right here to Garrity, trying to keep away from his barrel.
1-2. Goes back to that outside part of the plate but misses away.
He's got a really good sweeping breaking ball that starts off in the chalk line of the batter's box opposite Garrity. On one of those strikes, was able to curve it back over the plate. It keeps Garrity guessing whether or not it's fastball or slider.
2-2 popped up a mile high, foul ground third base side. Garrett Dennis mask golf under it, makes the catch in front of his own dugout to retire the side. No runs on 1 hit. No errors and one left on base for William Carey at the top of the fourth. 6-1 William Carey over Middle Georgia State.
Leading off from Middle Georgia State is right fielder Jake Norton.
Middle Georgia State got one in the bottom of the third inning. A 0 on the board at the top of the fourth. So a chance to chip into this 5-run William Carey lead a little further. They bring up the right fielder Jaden Duarte to start the inning. 6, 7, and 8. Glad to have you with us on a Thursday afternoon. My name is Ben Milam, here with my partner Caleb Hamill, our producer Allie Prescott. Shirah has missed the first 2 offerings to Duarte. Duarte doubled down the right field line just past the first base bag his first time up. Make him 1 for 1, but he was doubled off to end the inning. This is nubbed off the end of the bat. Leday's got to come and get it, and it'll skip off his glove. And Caleb, that will be error number 4 for William Carey, uncharacteristic.
You really start to wonder what's in the water over there in that William Carey dugout. It's not just one guy right now. It's affected Rigoberto Hernandez, the starting pitcher Andrew Shirah. Now it's Bobby Leday. It's getting a taste of it.
All of those guys typically sure gloved.
And Brady Wilson, the 4th of those.
Here's Garrett Dennis, the catcher, with a runner at first base. This is softly lifted into left field. Should be no problem for Chris Jones. He'll backpedal a few steps. He'll collect the out on the fly out to left field. And a loss like last night. 8-7 again against Blue Mountain Christian, the 8 seed. That can do all sort of things to your psyche, both individually and as a team. And that's part of why the fast start was important for William Carey. But then things can start to avalanche a little bit. The snowball starts rolling down the hill defensively or whatever it is in whatever phase of the game. It can fall apart quickly when you're in an elimination game because the pressure is always there in every moment.
You know, Josh and I talked about it last game, that hitting is contagious.
Ground ball to the left side. Leday fields to second for 1. That's all they will get. Throw to first. I didn't even think they would make the turn and actually made it close over there at first base.
Yeah, there's going to be a conversation here because a Middle Georgia coach over there thought that second base should have resulted in a safe call.
Yeah, Paul and I might have an argument, at least if we had monitors to go to for the umpiring crew. That's probably one we would look at. Hernandez had to kind of jump up, and Gary Matherson said he kept his toe on the bag. Paul Knight pleading his case.
And this is a type of thing that you possibly could get an umpire's combination ruling here to see, did they see the toe off of the bag whenever the catch was made? you could possibly appeal, but at the same time, not only has it come with Coach Knight's argument, it's come at the arguments of the dugout as well, to the point where Jackie Caldwell behind home plate has had to calm them down over there on the third base side.
So the call will stand. There are 2 outs in the inning. Duarte is cut down on the 6-4 fielder's choice. Jacob Edwards reaches on the fielder's choice. That just misses from Shirah to Datron Bray now.
Well, they called it a strike.
Sure did. That's why we've got you sitting over here, Caleb. 0-1 the count to Bray. He reached on one of those 4 errors for William Carey, and Shirah heading the count 0-2. So that call really changes the dynamic of this inning. Instead of 2 runners on and 1 away, Shirah strike away from getting out.
I was trying to say earlier, hitting's contagious, but sometimes miscues and free passes are. Right now, William Carey is trying to prevent them from becoming a factor.
This is poked up the middle of the day. Fields throws, not in time. Datron Bray beats it out. Edwards up to second base. Leday, nice job just to get to that in shallow center field. It really didn't have much of a shot to get the speedy Bray. An infield single for the left fielder. Now we turn it over to the top of the Middle Georgia State order. Here's J.T. Rice, who has struggled here in the early going. 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts to Andrew Shirah.
Well, every guy that believes in the law of averages, right now J.T. Rice is due.
Down low on the changeup. 1-0 is the count.
A 353 hitter on the season. Not a ton of extra base hits, 9 doubles. Does have 6 home runs to his credit. He's a single producer.
A couple of peeks to second. Sweeping breaking ball catches the outside corner. It's 1-1. Middle Georgia State bullpen still some casual actions. Caleb Lanu, who is staying loose, but we would expect Ronald Zayas to come back out. Coach Halford making sure Jacob Pierce is on the on-deck circle over in front of his own dugout. It's the kind of gamesmanship you see in postseason baseball like this. And that happened to William Carey last night, too. They made the Crusaders move their on-deck circle closer to the dugout. So that's on Coach Halford's mind. He wants to call it both ways. Swing and a miss to make it 1-2 on J.T. Rice.
Well, it goes 2 ways. One, it's for the safety of the player on deck. And
sure.
2, it's also to make sure that if a ball gets away and into foul territory, it's a uniform spot where the on-deck circle and the on-deck batter are to make sure they don't get in the way of the defenders.
1-2 from Shirah. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Andrew Shirah has been dominant against the top of the order for Middle Georgia State, and he escapes more base runners. 6-1 remains the lead in the bottom of the 4th inning. No runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and there were 2 runners left on board. To the 5th we go. William Carey holds the 5-run lead. This is the SSAC Conference Baseball Tournament.
All we want is to see that smile when you take your very first bite. So come see us at Nuke's Eatery.
catcher, Braden Coffey.
Braden Coffey leads it off for William Carey. 6, 7, 8 in the Crusader order. Right at the first baseman, Wilson. He makes the play. Almost scorched, but Wilson moving to his left makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Good job right there. Not an easy play to make for Ryan Wilson, but he does so. Quick out.
Yeah, not the first time we have seen a difficult play being made, and he made it look easy. Ryan Wilson over there flashing the leather. 1 away base is empty for Brady Wilson. First pitch from Zayas. A little off the dish.
Back to our tournament text line, 601-658-0916. Got a Knights fan tuning in from Fleming Island, Florida, saying, let's go Knights. A couple of Knights fans tuning in today.
We've had a couple of Floridians check in. And some St. Augustine people tuning in yesterday. Fleming Island right around the Jacksonville area, I think. There's a walk to Brady Wilson, 1 out base runner for the Crusaders. It'll be Rigoberto Hernandez. He's flown out to left field both times up.
Second baseman for William Carey, Rigoberto Hernandez.
I don't know about you, but I look forward to Hernandez taking pitches every time he steps up, just to get a little bit of a taste of.
He won't take anything here. This one lifted high and deep to center field, but should stay playable for Jacob Pierce. It will a couple of steps in front of the warning track. And a fly out to center field makes it 2 away. Got a good look at one there. But Wynn not moving at all, as we have continued to talk about, because it is a factor, prevailing factor in this ballpark. It is hard to get it out, especially out there to center field. 405 to dead center. Now Chris Jones called strike to start him off 0-1. Zayas now just over 90 pitches. This will be pitch 92 coming to Chris Jones. It is a called strike. So quick finish here. You could conceivably get 2 more out of Ronald Zayas. 0-2. Down the right field line, dropping quickly, just foul. Chris Jones about 12 inches away from a double. That very well could have scored Brady Wilson and made it a 7-1 game. Instead, count holds at 0-2.
Yeah, especially with 2 outs. You're running on contact right there if you're Brady Wilson. So no doubt in my mind that he would have at least attempted to make it home.
0-2. Popped up, and that's going to float out of play.
Well, Chris Jones got a hard-earned double. He got 2 RBIs out of the deal back in the 3rd inning. A tough, sinking ball that Pierce could not get to in center field. That helped add to the Crusader total.
Up and away.
And he's not really in the lineup for William Carey by choice of Coach Halford and company, more by necessity of Bailey Hendon exiting. So he's trying to make a name for himself right here and say, I deserve to be in the lineup.
1-2. Poke to the left side. Krause has to come and get it for the first on the move. Nice play by Andrew Krause to end the William Carey threat here in the top of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on for William Carey. Middle Georgia State will bring up 2, 3, and 4 in their order when we come back. William Carey 6, Middle Georgia State 1. This is SSAC Conference Tournament Baseball. Faulkner going to win in our first losers bracket game. 13-4 over Bruton Parker. The Barron season is done for either William Carey or Middle Georgia State. They will finish this conference tournament in just 2 games. Both of these clubs expected to make some noise here this week. And William Carey, a 6-1 lead, but a leadoff single for Jacob Pierce. That's laced into center field. And we have time called over at first base. And I think a warning is going to be issued on Jacob Pierce. I didn't catch what happened out of the box, but it was a quick indication by Gary Haynes at first base that something had been done by Jacob Pierce to elicit a warning, and quickly the notebook came out. Conversation being had with Coach Knight to get the full explanation. I don't know if you saw anything else there, Caleb.
A little bit out of my viewing area, but judging by the body language of Coach Knight over there at the third baseline, he seems to understand. He's not irate about it. He's like, what did he say? Okay,
yeah,
I'll handle it.
Yeah, Jacob Pierce, if you remember, he and Jake Lissette going back and forth a little bit, and Pierce, after drawing a walk in the third inning, and it made a challenging long look to the William Carey dugout. And you can see first base umpire Gary Haynes gesturing toward the William Carey dugout to cut it out, whatever it is. So there is some extracurricular activity. And Paul Knight still getting the rundown from Jackie Caldwell over there.
I give high credit to the umpiring crew here, especially in this game here in the 5th inning. You want to keep everything at bay before it gets out of hand.
Yep.
You never want to get to that point where you're handling damage control. You want to nip this in the bud early on. If there are tempers raging here, it's a hot day here at the ballpark. A lot of frustration sometimes whenever you get heated up like that.
Yeah, and a lot on the line, too. An elimination game in a postseason format, a lot of times things can unravel quicker than usual. And that is exactly what Gary Haynes, first base umpire, was trying to avoid there, and seems to have done a good job of settling things down. So leadoff man aboard, Ryan Wilson at the plate. He goes after a changeup from Andrew Shirah and swings over the top of it, 0-1.
Well, if you think about it, Middle Georgia State has a lot they have to play for right here. Not guaranteed a spot in the postseason at this point. Right now, William Carey has pretty much been guaranteed that they're going to play because they're already listed as a host team for the opening round. So for Middle Georgia State, their season could be on the line.
Yeah, we were looking off air at the Bo Chip Index, which is the RPI Ratings Power Index version for the NAIA, which the selection committee will look at that, determining who is going to be in and out of the national tournament. But a white snap throw to first, not in time. Pierce back in quickly. So we'll get a maybe rundown of that from you here, Caleb, shortly. Middle Georgia State kind of on that bubble a little bit, maybe outside looking in, but in a tournament like this, you want to leave no doubt and make a run, get the automatic bid to be sure. Ball and 2 strikes to Ryan Wilson. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Andrew Shirah, another strikeout to his name, and there's one away.
I give credit to Andrew Shirah. He is facing this competition full force, trying to make sure that he keeps everything in front of him. Even sometimes with things that he can't be in control of when it comes to errors in the field. But right now, 75 pitches through 4 1/3 now. It's going to be determined by what his offense is able to do if he's able to go a full game. But right now, if it's a full 9-inning game, I don't think he's going to make it the full.
1-0. Pierce feigns to second but stays put. Swing and a miss from Andrew Krause. But those 4 1/3 innings for Andrew Shirah, the line so far. 1 run, it was not earned, 4 base hits, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk.
It's pretty good numbers, especially the strikeout total.
Yep. 1-1, big bouncer on 1 hop to Lede, throws to first in time. Second out, and Pierce moves up to second base.
That's good on Lede. Last time he had a ball hit his way, it resulted in an error that allowed Jaden Duarte to reach. But now settles back in, gets the ground out play, and they're 2 away.
The good news for Middle Georgia State, a runner in scoring position for the 4th consecutive inning for the Knights. Just 1 run across on 4 base hits. Brennan Williams, the designated hitter at the dish. He reached on an error in the 2nd, flew out to center field in the 3rd. Got to find a way to chip away, get one at a time. Check swing from Williams. Did not go around. This is Hoss Matherson.
For both teams right now, 6 runners left stranded on the base paths. Although that has hurt Middle Georgia State a little bit more than it has William Carey.
And I do want to make a correction. We believe we may have had our field umpires backwards. I think that is Gary Haynes over at 3rd base and Hoss Matherson over at 1st base. That's at least our best guess. We've had both.
Some arrangement of those guys.
Number of different times. Yeah, through 6 games now, you start to get used to, well, you've got the umpire and crew dribble down the first baseline and foul by Brennan Williams. 2 balls and a strike.
Kind of wish that you had the number patch on their shoulder or your sleeve, and then a whole roster of umpires like you do in the major leagues.
So 2-1, Andrew Shirah working on the DH. Brennan Williams. Shirah to the plate. Down low. I can tell you it's not Hoss Matherson at 3rd base. I actually think we have him correct now. Gary Haynes at 3rd, Hoss Matherson at 1st. 3-1. Too tall. Brennan Williams will draw a 2-out walk. And another multi-base runner opportunity for Middle Georgia State. As mentioned, they have had a runner in scoring position for 4 straight frames now, and now multiple base runners on board in 4 straight frames. And at some point, Caleb, you're going to have to come through and get the big hit.
It's always that adage, something's got to give.
Mm-hmm. Left the bases loaded in the 3rd. Stranded 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th. 2 aboard here. So left 7 on board in total. Shirah to the plate. Down low to Jaden Duarte, who has reached twice, double in the 2nd. Reached on an error by the shortstop Leday in the 4th. 1 run on 4 base hits, 1 error is the line score on the scoreboard for Middle Georgia State. 6 runs, 6 base hits, 4 errors for William Carey. 1-0 from Shirah. Big swing and a miss on the changeup. Middle Georgia State has not been able to pick that up out of the right hand of Shirah yet.
You know, think about Middle Georgia State and the times they've gotten base runners on without them scoring. They've typically been because of errors or walks. Only a handful with base hits. And now they're trying to earn their way into a run.
That got between the wickets of Braden Coffey. Both runners will move up. Tell you what, a big aggressive turn. Jacob Pierce over there slipped and fell. And now we look back over there, and Pierce looks like he may have twisted something trying to get back to the bag at 3rd base. And really hope that's nothing serious, but Jacob Pierce looks like he's in some pain, and the training staff going to come out and check on the center fielder Pierce at 3rd base. Count is 2-1 on Jaden Duarte after the wild pitch from Andrew Shirah. Both runners moved up. Caleb, you've got the binoculars. Do you see anything we should be aware of?
Well, he's really settled down, is not moving a whole lot, just trying to grip whatever's either at his abdomen or maybe his arm. But I think it's something in the abdomen area. Maybe as he came up onto the base, may have gotten stunned a little bit there. So they're still tending to him right now, and in this extended break.
Yeah, so we're looking at the replay we have available, and it looks like Pierce kind of planted both feet and tried to backpedal spin at the same time and may have just twisted his ankle. That, I think, would probably be best case scenario for Jacob Pierce. It doesn't look like it's anything again, speaking hopefully that is all that serious, and Pierce looks like he's trying to shake it off and stay in the game, but you could tell he is feeling it. And if you have competed at any level of any sport, of any intensity, you know tweaking an ankle, whether it's a serious sprain or just a twist, boy, that is some serious pain.
And it sticks with you, too.
Yeah.
It's not something that just goes away on its own like, a quick bruise.
You can't just shake it off.
No.
Although some guys with real toughness, like Jacob Pierce, are able to do that.
And what's tough for Pierce is his speed is one of his biggest parts of his game, being a center fielder. So you're in a situation right now where you'll likely see a pinch runner for Pierce.
Yeah.
And at that point, you ask yourself, will he re-enter if he does get a pinch runner?
It is Adam. Well, hang on. Pierce is going to stay in this game. It was Adam Alicia Brooks who was ready and waiting if he was called upon there, but Jacob Pierce shakes everyone off and says, leave me alone. He will stay. He's still doubled over there at third base.
Well, he's hoping for a solid enough single right here from Duarte where he can just trot home instead of running.
Or crawl home.
Yes, whatever it takes.
2 balls and a strike to Jaden Duarte. Big swing and a miss. If that had connected for Duarte, well, Jacob Pierce would not have had to run at all. Could have tried it across home plate. And now the 2-2. Down the first base line at foul. Duarte's gone that direction already. He'd squeezed it between Jake Lissette and the first base bag for double back in the second inning. He would love a repeat of history here.
If this is what it takes, Brennan Williams can pick him up and carry him home.
2-2. Way outside. There's been no action in the William Carey bullpen so far in this game. Shirah, for the most part, has been in control, but Caleb, as you mentioned, that pitch count starting to get up to where you might start thinking about getting someone loose. Full count to Duarte. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Andrew Shirah says too small. Another filthy changeup from Shirah gets out number 3, and he escapes damage again. No runs, 1 base hit, no errors, 2 runners left in scoring position for Middle Georgia State. We're through 5 complete. The 1-seed William Carey Crusaders 6. The 4-seed Middle Georgia State Knights 1. Ronald Zayas continues when we return. This is SSAC Conference Tournament Baseball.
Lighting is a science with a tremendous amount of complexity. Every field, stadium, and complex has its own challenges. From design to production to installation, Techline Sports Lighting has been a leader in sports lighting solutions for more than 20 years. Techline Sports Lighting, the official sports lighting partner of the Southern States Athletic Conference.
Some defensive changes for Middle Georgia State. Jacob Pierce has exited the game after twisting the ankle, attempting to get back to third base on a wild pitch advancement. Ronald Zayas working against the top of the William Carey order. R.J. Stinson, Bobby Leday, Jake Lissette. In a 6-1 ball game, William Carey leading it 1-2 to Zayas. He's really settled things down. 2 consecutive scoreless innings for Zayas, the big righty. This one laced into the gap, dropping quickly on his horse is Bray. It'll drop in between Bray and Duarte, the center fielder. R.J. Stinson has a leadoff double.
Good way to start off an inning for William Carey. Leading by 5 right now. They would love to see this lead expounded upon, which gives Andrew Shirah a little more breathing room to continue his outing.
And that ties for R.J. Stinson on that double. That ties the single season hit record in program history of 88, set in 1998 by Perry Miley. R.J. Stinson, one of the best to ever do it in the black and red, adding to his illustrious career. And more importantly for William Carey right now, another run-scoring opportunity to quickly circle back to those defensive changes for Middle Georgia State as Jacob Pierce exits the game. Jaden Duarte is bumped over to center field, and Adam Alicia Brooks over to right field. 0-1 to Bobby Leday, fouled out of play over the William Carey dugout. Alicia Brooks.
Alicia.
You're right. Alicia Brooks, Adam Alicia Brooks in right field. Got a lot of names to know and pronounce. Apologies to Adam.
Just 18.
Inevitably, we were going to miss one. 0-2, 1 and 2 strikes. Remind you of our championship text line. You can find the number top left of your screen. Love to have you as part of the conversation. I would imagine we have maybe some Blue Mountain Christian toppers tuned in. This one is hammered to left field. Back goes Bray, and that got out of the ballpark on a line. Bobby Leday. Good gracious. That ball was scorched, and William Carey leads it 8-1.
You want to talk about a guy that has come alive here late in the season? Bobby Leday is that guy.
He is that guy.
And he's just pulled out Zayas from the game.
Ronald Zayas is going to exit this game. And what's a part of what is very impressive about that home run from Bobby Leday, he didn't get his lower half into that. He was out in front, and he just tossed the barrel at it, obviously turned on it, but his weight was out on his front foot. And I'm telling you, that ball did not get more than 35, 40 feet up in the air. It got out of here in a hurry. Caleb Lanu will be called upon to settle things down for Middle Georgia State. Ronald Zayas, a quality outing. Scoreboard might not reflect the quality of that outing, but he battled, he competed. Caleb Lanu will look to continue that theme on the mound. We'll tell you about Lanu when we come back. This is SSAC Conference Tournament Baseball. We were just treated to a Bobby Leday laser show Make it 8-1. William Carey. Jake Lissette will face Caleb Lanoux, the new arm on the mound for Middle Georgia State. The veteran for Middle Georgia State, the most used arm. It's been the case the last couple of years for Lanoux. 52 1/3 innings of work. This is his 22nd overall appearance and his 16th out of the bullpen.
It's good quick math from you right there.
Keep saying don't do public math, but I always seem to run into the situation where I have to.
Yeah, baseball leaves you no choice sometimes.
That's true. 4.47 ERA for Lanoux. 2-1. That nips the bottom of the zone on Jake Lissette. 53 strikeouts and 52-plus innings. Just 24 walks. Lanoux will stay in the strike zone.
About a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Maybe 2.1 to 1.
That's some nice math for you, Caleb. Look at us.
Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought? I probably won't be able to do a whole lot of math by the end of this tournament. This is lifted down the left field line, cutting foul. It'll stay 2-2. So the winner of this ball game, if I can find my schedule, I'll tell you here in just a moment.
They'll face the loser of Loyola Mobile.
That's correct. I'm trying to find the game time. Now the winner, this is hammered high, deep, and way gone. Jake Lissette, an emphatic bat flip. And we're going to have a conversation after this from our home plate umpires. Jake Lissette felt that one. And it is 9-1 Crusaders.
His second home run of the day. Jake Lissette left no room for doubt on that one.
Well, here is where things could potentially get ugly. Preston Ratliff is going to have to be careful because if I'm reading it correctly, there were some calls for Middle Georgia State could have just been in the heat of the moment to maybe put one in the back of Preston Ratliff, or at least that's what you worry about here. And that is exactly what the home plate umpire, Jackie Caldwell, is telling Coach Halford, and Hoss Matherson having a similar conversation with Ben Smith in the first base coaching box.
Well, this is what it's come down to. The next misstep by either team is going to result in an ejection of somebody.
Yeah, all the warnings have been exhausted. So this inning, a double by R.J. Stinson, a home run of the two-run variety for Bobby Leday, and the Crusaders go back-to-back, a solo bomb from Jake Lissette.
There are hot tempers everywhere. You see a long conversation between third baseman Krause and Gary Haynes over there.
Breaking ball is fouled away and out of play. Into the stands. Jake Lissette, again, has had some conversations with multiple nights over at first base. So he's been in the fray of what we have called the extracurricular activities. This one is lifted into center field, a base hit for Preston Ratliff. 4 straight base hits, double, home run, and a single here in the 6th inning. And the Crusaders offense has awoken.
Good piece of hitting on the slider. Preston Ratliff was able to get a hold of that one, and hitting is contagious right now. Couple home runs, single and double. Oh, what a day for Jake Lissette. 4 RBIs.
My goodness.
He's scored every time he's reached base.
Bomb of 3-run variety in the first, a single in the third, and a solo home run in the 6th. This one dribbled foul by Billy Garrity. 3 for 3, 4 RBI, 3 runs scored for Jake Lissette. Can the Middle Georgia State offense awaken when they are given the next opportunity? Billy Garrity goes down on strikes to Caleb Lanoux, his first out here at the top of the 6th inning. 6 runs across. 3 runs across here in the 6th inning. 3 runs in the first, 3 in the third, 3 so far here in the 6th frame. As Braden Coffey steps in.
And you can close out the book on Zayas after his outing was complete. Left no runners on base, by the way. His final numbers were 109 pitches in this game to go with 8 hits. Gave up 2 home runs. Struck out 5 and walked 5. Tough day at the office.
Breaking ball sweeps away from the right-handed hitting Coffey. So again, great job by our umpiring crew, Jackie Caldwell, Gary Haynes, Hoss Matherson, to calm things down after that Jake Lissette home run. If we can find the replay of that, we will. This is fisted, middle of the infield. That'll drop in front of Edwards. He will field and throw, but no play. Safe is Coffey. Well done by Ryan Wilson to keep that from going into foul territory, getting extra bases for the Crusaders. So an infield single. That one just nubbed off of the handle of Braden Coffey and somehow found his home behind Lanu and in front of Jacob Edwards coming from his second base position. 2 on, 1 out for the Crusaders.
Now here's Caleb Laird with his first plate appearance today after replacing Brady Wilson in the field last inning.
Fooled by that slider from Caleb Lanu. 0-1. See some Talladega Tornadoes sitting in the stands, along with some Mobile Rams getting ready to do battle with the Tornadoes. Bunted back to Lanu. He will field and throw the easy way, but it gets away from Ryan Wilson. Scoring Preston Ratliff, and Coach Halford will hold Ty Little at third base. Running for Braden Coffey, it is 10-1 Crusaders, and that is the 3rd error of the game.
Watch out right here. You may have seen it on your screen if you're watching at home, but Hoss Matherson, our first base umpire, kind of got in the way of Caleb Laird trying to make that turn after the error. Laird had a little bit of a shove to keep his footing and stay upright against the umpire, who issued a couple more warnings toward him as he came to second base.
Still conversation happening, but Caleb Laird, big smile out there. JT Rice was also part of that conversation at short. Now the 0-1 to Rigoberto Hernandez. That misses outside. And it is 1-0. So E1, that's the second error of the game for Middle Georgia State. A call and strike makes it 1-1. 1-2 on the scoreboard. I've got it as 1-1. Runners at second and third for William Carey. Down low, 2-1. Yep, I was correct. That always feels good.
Way to go, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And Ty Little over at third base. Laird at second after reaching on the air and advancing on the ball that got away. 2-1 to Rigoberto Hernandez. Backdoor slider misses outside, wrapping around the zone. Lanu thought that was strike number 2, but doesn't get the call. One chop to the right side and through for a base hit. Ty Little scores. Laird will be held at third. Strong throw in from Alicia Brooks. And it's 11-1 Crusaders. All William Carey here in game number 6.
That's right, and right now they just got their key run across. That makes it a 10-run game. Now we have gotten word from the SSAC heads, and they said that all games are fair play as far as the 7-inning run rule. Not just non-elimination games.
And that got away. A wild pitch. Caleb Laird will score easily. 12-1 William Carey. And they are pouring it on here in the 6th inning. 6 runs across. William Carey 12, Middle Georgia State 1. And to me, Caleb, this game hasn't felt like William Carey has outplayed Middle Georgia State 12-1. You will look at William Carey's line, 12 runs, 12 base hits, 4 errors. Obviously, Andrew Shirah has been really good, but it's been Crusaders taking advantage of opportunities given, which they will do here with Chris Jones placing a gapper up against the left field wall and scoring Rigoberto Hernandez and making it 13-1.
And when you look at the defensive side for William Carey, they've been able to not let errors or free passes bite them. They've somehow gotten a little lucky, if you want to be frank about it. They've gotten lucky and haven't had those runs come in to score like what happened against Blue Mountain. And so now you're in a situation that sets you up possibly really well for the rest of this tournament if you get a run rule victory here. That means you save bullpen arms, you save players from being out in the heat for longer than they need to be. And for William Carey, this is really what the doctor ordered as far as getting their bats alive, which took until basically the end of the contest yesterday.
So R.J. Stinson, who got this inning started with a double, steps to the plate, still just 1 out in the inning. William Carey has batted around in the 6th inning, 7 runs across. It is 13-1 Crusaders. Stinson started it with a double, a 2-run home run from Bobby Leday, and then a solo shot from Jake Lissette, and a single from Preston Ratliff. This is high and deep. Bray giving chase. He can't get to it. It's off the bottom of the wall. Bray bangs against the wall. Getting up, Chris Jones will score easily. R.J. Stinson will hold at third, and Bray is in pain on the warning track in left field. And he's going to try to get up and shake it off. Bray gave everything to try and get that baseball.
That's tough. The Knights are already down one of their outfielders.
14-1 William Carey after the R.J. Stinson triple. And Caleb, I don't know if you saw it. I think Datron Bray got some leather on that baseball.
I think he did. I mean, he was charging so fast toward the line that he almost had to reach behind him by the time he got there. I mean, it just, not necessarily that he misread it. It was just a tailing away from him pitch. And Stinson got every bit of it.
Well, that would have been a magnificent play from Datron Bray had he gotten to that.
I mean, a little higher of a launch angle. We're talking about a line drive home run from Stinson.
Similar to what we saw from Bobby Leday, who stands at the plate, grounds it back to Lanou, pops out of his glove, but recovers to throw out Bobby Leday for the 2nd out of the inning, and R.J. Stinson stays put at third.
Hard to believe that's just the 2nd out of this inning.
This will be the 11th, 12th Crusader to come to the plate. Jake Lissette, solo home run earlier in this inning. His 2nd of the game. He's 3 for 3 with 2 bombs, a single, 3 runs scored.
Could you imagine the calamity if he hits 2 home runs in 1 inning? I'll tell you one thing, I'd feel sorry for the umpires trying to keep the dugouts together.
That would be tough to do.
And Lissette was the first guy that this new pitcher for Middle Georgia State, Lanou, was facing.
Yeah. Jake Lissette greeted him rather rudely. And Lanou just misses outside. 2 balls and a strike. Disaster here in the top of the 6th inning for Middle Georgia State. 8 runs have come across. The 12th batter of the inning for William Carey. 2-1. That sweeps in on the inside half of the zone. Good-looking slider from Caleb Lanou. It's 2-2. 2 away. R.J. Stinson at third base after his triple. Down low, full count. Again, Talladega and Mobile will square off around 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game at our first winner's bracket game. That's one we're really excited about. Caleb, you'll be on the play-by-play for that game. 3-2 from Lanou. Backdoor breaking ball. It's a good one from Caleb Lanou to get out of the inning. Lissette down on strikes. Now let's do some public math. Caleb? 8 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. There was one error, and there was 1 left on base. William Carey leads at 14-1 over Middle Georgia State. Do the Knights have an answer in the tank? Andrew Shirah on for his 6th inning of work when we return. This is the SSAC Conference Baseball Tournament.
At Nukes, we know that for you, it's all about flavor. You want unique combinations that truly tempt your taste buds. Culinary classics that go to a whole new level. You like being served fresh takes on old favorites, all in a fun, stylish, casual place to be. All we want is to see that smile when you take your very first bite. So come see us at Nukes Eatery.
Leading off from Middle Georgia State is catcher Garrett Dennis.
William Carey blows it off the hinges in the top of the 6th inning. An 8-run top half of the frame. 14-1 the lead now for the Crusaders. Andrew Shirah on with a comfortable 13-run lead. He sees 7, 8, and 9 in the Middle Georgia State order. Garrett Dennis, Jacob Edwards, Datron Bray. And it's hard not to look up at that scoreboard, Caleb, if you're in the third base dugout for Middle Georgia State. Finish that thought here after this one is laced down the left field line. Garrett Dennis will put on the brakes at first base, but a hard hit single to start off the innings. I was saying, hard not to look up at that scoreboard and feel like this is over. Obviously, big mountain to climb. These guys have been competitive. They've fought all season. That's why they are the 4 seed in this tournament. What's the approach, AB to AB, for the Knights down 13 runs?
Manufacture hits. I mean, you can't get up to the plate and hit a 13-run homer. You have to just go out there at bat after at bat and find a way to get on base, whether it's a walk, work the count, maybe get hit by a pitch or two.
Yeah.
William Carey's already been out there and had 4 errors in the field. So you like your chances if you can get a bat to the ball and keep it in play. You hope you can get it out of the infield and just keep them going one after the other.
Big bouncer to short. Lede to second for 1. Hernandez the turn in time. A 6-4-3 double play. Wipes it clean. There are 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the 6th inning.
31st double play for William Carey this season. Came at a good spot.
Glad to have you with us on this May the 4th. We've had plenty of Star Wars conversation. We've got a good one from Allie Prescott. Some would say the Middle Georgia State needs a new hope in this ball game. Our executive producer, Allie Prescott, knew it all here today. This is Datron Bray, almost made a spectacular play. It was a spectacular effort an inning ago. He's reached twice on an error and a single on Andrew Shirah. Shirah yet to retire the left fielder, but he's had the count 0-2.
By the way, you know what kind of home run Lissette hit last time he went out of the yard? Solo.
The 0-2 pitch a little low. That is, I'm a little ashamed that I missed that. That was right there. But well done by you, partner, to catch that. Well done by Andrew Shirah to get out of the inning clean and quickly again. No runs on 1 base hit, no errors. No one left on. 3 outs to get for William Carey. They can add more onto the 13-run lead when we come back to the top of the 7th inning. This is the SSAC Conference Baseball Tournament.
Lighting is a science with a tremendous amount of complexity. Every field, stadium, and complex has its own challenges. From design to production to installation, Techline Sports Lighting has been a leader in sports lighting solutions for more than 20 years. Techline Sports Lighting, the official sports lighting partner of the Southern States Athletic Conference.
Back at Milton Wheeler Field here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Game 6 of the SSAC Conference Baseball Tournament. Ben Mylum, Caleb Hamill with you alongside Allie Prescott, our producer-engineer. 14-1 the William Carey lead. New arm is Daniel Lee, the senior from Middle Georgia State, a Georgia native transfer out of Reinhardt University, working against a 13-run deficit. He will face 4, 5, and 6 in the Carey order. And I do want to circle back to R.J. Stinson's second at-bat in the 6th inning. He tripled. I mentioned he tied the single-season program record of 88 single-season hits all time in first place with that double. And in the triple in his second at-bat of the 6th inning, he broke the record set in 1998 by Perry Miley. He is now the all-time leader in total hits in a single season in a William Carey Crusader jersey. Just an unbelievable career for R.J. Stinson. That record stood for 25 years here at William Carey. You've had so many unbelievable ball players come through. Daniel Lee, again, the senior on working against William Carey. The middle of the order, Ratliff, Garrity, Coffee, Dua. 0-2 from Daniel Lee. Called strike, bottom of the zone. He rings up Preston Ratliff for out number 1 here in the top of the 7th inning. Daniel Lee in 2023 has made 11 appearances previously. His 12th appearance, all out of the bullpen. 3 wins, 1 loss. 12 innings complete previously. A 12.00 ERA. Of that smaller sample size, 16 earned runs, struck out 12 and walked 10 batters.
Tell you what, Garrity hasn't had a day like his normal self. 0 for 3 so far today. He's reached base twice with a walk and an error.
Yeah.
But otherwise, nothing that he's really produced on his own with a base hit.
Fouled off the end of the bat by the right fielder, Billy Garrity. And as we have said a couple of times, if Billy Garrity can get it going in this part of the lineup, this Crusader offense becomes all the more dangerous. And that's when it becomes that Death Star lineup, as you would maybe say. But this time, swinging a miss, strike 3 for Garrity. Dennis will finish it off by throwing down to first base. 2 quick strikeouts for Daniel Lee. He's looked good here through the first 2 batters he's faced at the top of the 7th inning. Now Braden Coffey with 2 outs and the bases empty. Coming into this tournament, Middle Georgia State is what you would call one of those Death Star type lineups. 10th in the country in home runs at 79. That led the SSAC by a pretty good margin. Second in that category was William Carey with 68 home runs. But the Knights just have not been able to get it going on the offensive end. Just 1 run total in this tournament, and it was an unearned run in the bottom of the 3rd inning here today. They were shut out by Loyola yesterday. Daniel Lee works on Braden Coffey, 2-0. Ricky ball snaps in for a strike, 2-1.
Well, William Carey's done their best job to try to battle back against Middle Georgia in that home run column, with 3 so far today against the Knights.
Crusaders have been in that top 10 nationally in the home run category. Different spots of the season, trying to work their way back into it. It's a really talented Middle Georgia State ball club who did not expect to find themselves in this position. Ball 4 to Braden Coffey. It was an 8-game winning streak for Middle Georgia State that they were riding coming into this tournament. It was snapped by Loyola. Ty Little will run for Braden Coffey here as Caleb Laird comes to the plate. I don't think I ever told you the schedule ahead for the winner of this game. They will
winner of this game will face the winner of Blue Mountain and Loyola.
Right, but.
And that'll be at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, there it is. Yep. My eyes got crossed up a little bit there. Yes.
We'll start calling you an umpire with that.
So William Carey will take on the loser of our nightcap tonight, Blue Mountain and Loyola, at 1 o'clock tomorrow in Game 10. That one just missed from Daniel Lee, 1 and 2 to Caleb Laird. And, of course, whoever loses this game right now, it's Middle Georgia State, who is staring elimination in the face. 1-2 from Lee. Down low, blocked up by Garrett Dennis. I remind you to stick around for a post-game wrap-up show. Caleb's going to head down to the field to get the final thoughts, first reactions from the winning head coach of this contest. And we will roll right into our winner's bracket action here in Hattiesburg. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Caleb Laird with 2 away. Ty Little gets an early start. Bounce to the left side. Third baseman Kraus fields and throws on the move in time to retire at the side. So nothing doing for William Carey in the top half of the 7th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on. Bottom half of the 7th. Coming up right after this, last chance for Middle Georgia State as we listen in to the stretch here at Milton Wheeler Field. All William Carey in game number 6 of the SSAC Conference Baseball Tournament. Ben Milam, Caleb Hamill with you. Producer Ali Prescott and Andrew Shirah on to close it out for the Crusaders. Middle Georgia State needs 4 to extend this game and avoid a mercy rule ending to this ball game. Swing and a miss. A message on our championship text line. Go Jake Edwards and I love you. Of course, Jacob Edwards, second baseman, who has been one of the better producers both with the glove and the bat all season long for Middle Georgia State. Good news for Coach tonight. Jake Edwards has another year of eligibility. 0-2, that stays inside and low from Andrew Shirah.
And that was pitch 101 for Shirah.
He is aiming for his 4th complete game of the season. Popped up and out of play by J.T. Rice. Rice has had a tough day at the plate, and I think you could probably point to this as one of the biggest factors of the struggles for the Middle Georgia State offense. As good as J.T. Rice has been all season, just 1 base hit in this tournament. He's 1 for 7 now with 5 total strikeouts. And that is as uncharacteristic as it gets for J.T. Rice.
I mean, looking at this top third of the order, 7 strikeouts for the first 3 men in the game.
Well, you can tack one more onto that. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Andrew Shirah continues to roll. Make that 10 strikeouts for Andrew Shirah. Bases empty, one away for Adam Alicia Brooks.
This is his first at bat since entering the game in place of Jacob Pierce.
Alicia Brooks, the Georgia Gwinnett transfer. And if you are familiar at all with NAIA baseball, it is one of the top programs in the country year in and year out.
Pretty good softball program, too.
Great softball program.
They'll be a host of the NAIA opening round.
Yeah, the baseball program, they are one of the favorites to make a run at a national championship this year. Of course, if you get into it, everyone has a chance. 2 balls and a strike to Alicia Brooks. Brooks took his talents from Georgia Gwinnett. Not too far down the road to Middle Georgia State. Fairburn, Georgia native. And a 2-1 count. Takes that a little low.
Of course, I mentioned softball. Middle Georgia State, also a pretty good softball program in their own right. Right now leading Bruton Parker in the top of the 6th inning, 6-0. They'll likely face William Carey in the next round.
William Carey got a win over Blue Mountain Christian on the softball diamond earlier today over in Decatur, Alabama. In North Alabama, 3-2 narrow victory. So we could very well have a rematch of this contest on the softball diamond in the winner's bracket tomorrow in the softball SSAC championships. Alicia Brooks draws the walk on the 3-1 count. This is Ryan Wilson. This is scorched off the, I think that was off the tarp tube down there on third base foul ground.
It's a fun phrase right there, tarp tube.
Tarp tube.
Never heard it called that.
I think that's the first time I've ever said that.
Well, it's
works.
official now.
Popped up into right field. Garrity will float in, staring up into the blue sky and making the catch. There are 2 gone. Andrew Shirah, and out away from a loud win for William Carey. Bouncing back in a big way after the upset win for Blue Mountain Christian last night. Blue Mountain Christian will do battle with Loyola in the 7 o'clock scheduled game tonight. Looking to put themselves in the driver's seat to play in the championship final, as is Loyola. That's going to be a fun one, as is our 2-3 matchup, Talladega and Mobile. A whole lot of really, really great baseball left to play here in Hattiesburg.
And if William Carey records this final out right here, not only would the Crusaders be winners, but the conference tournament would be a winner because that gets them closer to being on schedule.
Yeah, this would be a pretty efficient affair if Andrew Shirah can get an out right here. This is Andrew Kraus, who is 0 for 3, but reached on an error in the 3rd inning. It's been great with the glove. Check swing. He went around. Kraus, the senior out of Aiken, South Carolina.
Looking at 2 hours and 10 minutes for this game as it stands right now.
All in 2 strikes with Alicia Brooks at first base. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Andrew Shirah. And a blowout victory for William Carey. Shines on the hill. He allows just 1 run. It was unearned. 5 base hits. And William Carey wins it 14-1 over Middle Georgia State. Moving on to the 1 o'clock game tomorrow, where they will face the winner of tonight's Blue Mountain Christian and Loyola contest. Middle Georgia's bid for a conference tournament championship falls well short. They lose 2 consecutive ball games, 4-0 yesterday to Loyola, 14-1 to William Carey here in this contest. Tough way to end it for Middle Georgia State. A fantastic year all the way around. Middle Georgia State will finish the season 30-10 in the overall record category. And they finished in 4th place in the SSAC regular season with a conference record of 16-8. And again, going 0-2 in the SSAC conference tournament. Caleb Hamill will be our man down on the field to try to get the good word from Bobby Halford down there in the William Carey dugout. We'll actually keep it right here. Take a look at some of the highlights on the stat sheet as we roll right into our post-game wrap-up. Actually, we're going to go ahead and send it down to Caleb, who is with Coach Halford.
Well, Coach, quite a game for your program to battle back after such a late game last night. Let's start with the hitting, because Jake Lissette and so many of these other guys really stepped up to the plate and were able to battle against Middle Georgia with 3 home runs in the day. What an offensive performance.
Well, I was really proud because we stayed out here and, we didn't play a very good game early, and then we came back last night and had chances to win, and our guys just bounced back today, which they've done all year. And, of course, playing on this field in the daytime makes a big difference. There were some balls hit last night that the same guys were hitting that didn't go out because the air was, was dense last night, and, of course, playing in this big ballpark. But today, put some good swings in the ball. Now, Andrew Shirah does what he does best. Goes a complete game for you. Talk about him. Well, he's pitcher of the year in the league, and he showed why today because, that's the way he's pitched the last few weeks. And anytime you got your ace going, you feel good about it. Between both dugouts today, a lot of emotion, a lot of energy, sometimes a little bit too far. What was it like out here on the field as they try to keep things at bay? Well, I thought they did a good job keeping it at bay. Of course, anytime you play on a conference team, especially a team as talented as they are, and they've been good every year. They go to regionals every year, and so we knew we had our work cut out for us. And they had some good arms. They had some guys that could really, run it up there, and so we were fortunate to score early and do some good things, and we played pretty good. Defensively, we kind of kicked it around a little bit, but Shirah was so good, and then offensively we jumped out and had that lead and didn't relinquish it, and that was a good thing. Coach, it was a good win for your program. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Ben, back up to you.
Thank you, Caleb. Great job as always. Appreciate Coach Halford spending some time with us. Again, some highlights on the stat sheet. Andrew Shirah shines yet again for the Crusaders. Picks up his 8th win of the year, moves to 8-1 on the season in the win-loss column. 7 innings complete for Shirah, 5 base hits, 1 run. It was not earned. He gives up 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. It is 1 shy of a season high for Andrew Shirah. Ronald Zayas will pick up his 3rd loss of the season. He will finish 2023 here in the conference tournament 4-3 overall. He goes 5 innings complete, gives up 8 base hits, 8 runs. They were all earned. 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. Give up a couple of home runs. Caleb Lanu came on to relieve him. Lanu, the first batter he saw was a home run to Jake Lissette. He goes 1 inning complete, 6 base hits, 6 runs, 2 of them earned. No walks, 2 strikeouts for the righty Lanu. Daniel Lee closed it out for Middle Georgia State and was clean in the 7th inning. No hits, no runs, 1 walk, a couple of strikeouts for Middle Georgia State. On the offensive side of things, Middle Georgia State, again, just the 1 run on 5 base hits. It came from Jacob Pierce. He was 1 for 2, also drew a walk. Jaden Duarte was 1 for 3, as was Garrett Dennis. Jake Edwards 1 for 3 with a run scored, the lone run of the ball game in the tournament for Middle Georgia State, and then Datron Bray finished 1 for 2 as well. William Carey explodes offensively. R.J. Stinson 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored and an RBI, also drawing a walk and breaking the single-season hits record for William Carey of 89 in 2023. Bobby Leday 1 for 4 with 2 runs scored, 2 RBI on a 2-run home run. Also drew a walk. Jake Lissette, the biggest numbers of the day. He's 3 for 5 with 3 runs scored, 4 RBI, a 2-run home run, and, a 3-run home run and a solo home run, both in this game for Jake Lissette. Preston Ratliff 3 for 5, 2 runs scored. Billy Garrity scored a run as well, finished over 4 in the day, but did reach on a walk. Braden Coffey 1 for 3. He picked up an RBI and drew 2 walks. Brady Wilson 1 for 2 on the day. Caleb Laird 0 for 1, but scored a run after reaching on an error. Rigoberto Hernandez 1 for 4, scoring a run and picking up an RBI. And Chris Jones, nice day at the plate, getting the start out in left field. He's 2 for 4 with a run scored, 3 RBI, and one of those base hits was a double for Chris Jones. 14-1, your final score. William Carey wins it over the 4-seed Middle Georgia State, so the 1-seed William Carey will play in the 1 o'clock game tomorrow against the winner of Blue Mountain Christian and Loyola tonight. Game 7 on tap here in about 20 minutes between the 2-seeded Talladega Tornadoes and the 3-seeded Mobile Rams. We'd love to have you with us for that one as well. For Caleb Hamill, our executive producer, Allie Prescott, my name is Ben Milam. Thank you for joining us and spending part of your Thursday with us. We hope to see you real soon. This has been SSAC Conference Tournament Baseball.